Danny hit it. I wanted to do the tailspin song. Is that so wrong?
You know, Brock is just doing his thing. We're live. We're live. We're live. See, they all dance. Yes, I just have the best guests. Hi, Brock. How are you?
My friend, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I start my streams with a little dance, but I don't tell them I'm going to do it. But people just join, and I go, okay, that's important. It's all good signs that y'all are great people. Guys, we have Brock. Oh, I already forgot your freaking middle name, Brock
Foster.
Brock Foster Powell.
Foster the people. I like that you gave it a Midwest kind of Brock Foster.
Brock Foster. So, guys, Brock Foster's done a lot of voice work, and I'm just going to rattle off a few of them here, and then we're going to get into them. I just went to New York now. It's not Midwest anymore.
You moved. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, we're just traveling the U.S. He is hanbe in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Moki or Mochi, I don't know, but I don't care. In Big Hero 6, apparently, is that the cat? Is that a cat?
Yeah, Harry Baby. That's what a lot of, yeah.
He's Vlorkel in the Phineas and Ferb movie. No big deal, guys. No big deal. It's just...
all of these sound made up. Every character that I have sounds made up.
Totally. Then we have the billionaire guy eccentric in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Made up. That's made up.
And you didn't tell me about Judd Whittaker in World War Z.
Yes, I am. I'm in Judd in World War Z, and we
have a lot of gamers here, so that's like their jam.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of games. I was in God of War in 2016. I just did Werewolf Earthblood Apocalypse. Again, that sounds made up. That sounds like I just looked at things.
You do make everything up, Brock. I don't believe anything you say.
Yeah, I work for a company called Disney.
Disney. Okay. Yeah. Disney. It's
Disney. I work for Disney.
The last one I wanted to share was the frickin' Kool-Aid Man, circa 2016.
That's right. You like how I put that in there?
I love it. Wait a minute. So yes, Twitty Kit. He is in his garage. Also his recording studio.
It'd be weirder if I was in someone else's garage. I broke in someone else's garage. Yeah, this is my garage and recording space, and there's actually like an amazing isolation booth over there made by Scott's VO Boots.
Yeah,
check it out.
I love it. And we have Jeff Burns here.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you for always showing up. He says, and every time he's in a game, it wins Game of the Year. That's awesome.
That's really sweet of him. The last 3 Game of the Year winners, I was in each of them. So working backwards, I was in Last of Us 2 in a very, very small part. Then I was in Sekiro. And then before that, God of the War 1. God of the War. I just turned to my grandma. Were you in God of the War?
I'm on the Twitch right now talking about the God of the War.
Yeah, what do they want to know? He's an angry man.
Well, the questions haven't come. We're getting there.
What are we going to do? We can't talk for an hour.
We will. I also have a Matthew David Rudd saying, "Bro."
Hey, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, I know him.
I felt like the joy in his hello seemed very very personal. And then G Gunslinger or Q Gunslinger says like a voice lucky charm. You're a lucky charm to all the video games that you work on.
I don't voice
the
Lucky
voice
Charms.
of Lucky Charms. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Could you try to do an Irish
Oh, sure, I could. Yes, but of course, I'd have to ask for permission from Daniel Ross or Eric Bauza, who both did Lucky most recently, I think.
Of course, Eric Bauza did that. The only Filipino who does every accent under the world.
I love Bauza so much. I could talk about Eric Bauza all day.
I know. We had him on here, so these people had the pleasure.
Did you? He's a hoot and a half, and we share a very common I would say an uncommon mantra, but between the two of us, he's one of the most generous actors I know to other actors. And
Yes,
I've never
absolutely.
missed an audition that I was right for if Eric had it, because he would let me know. And it's one of those things that I try,
that.
even if you were in competition with each other.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to know in the voiceover community, it is community over competition, because I would rather you get the part
Yes.
than
Yes.
not. Right?
Yeah. I think I've come to understand that. But since my beginning days in New York, I always, even if I went out for a role and I felt like somebody else was right for it, maybe they weren't getting seen, I was like, you know what? If they choose them, it was meant to be. If they choose me, it was meant to be. But I think we should both be showing up for this because, exactly. Oh, Eric. Let's not talk about Eric, though. We're here to talk about you.
Did you see the thing on Twitter that was going around that I was bawling when I first read it, but was just basically saying, like, as we're in this pursuit of voiceover and we're all trying to advocate for the inclusion of more diverse voices, whatever that means, be that, sexual representation, ethnic representation. I'm very big on trying to make sure that neurodivergence is included in the conversation, because I think that's also a big thing. Is a lot of voice actors that we were fans of are somewhere on the autism spectrum, are somewhere in the ADHD net, and continuing to have those conversations for people. Like I had a friend who was severely dyslexic and learns his lines by having someone else repeat them to him.
Wow. Yeah.
So just knowing that in the conversation that there's room for everybody, and
For sure.
Content these days, I am all for more people to sound like the kids on the other side of the screen watching this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember not really understanding anime too much. And then I was at a con and somebody explained to me that anime connects to people with autism, particularly because the characters have such defined emotions. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy. And there's no in between gray subtlety. And so that's why they connected so much to this expression, and these stories really speak to them. And I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. So I do love understanding how these worlds work and who connects to what, why. So absolutely. Somebody's loving your Mickey poster in the back. Yay!
So that was given to me by my high school counselor, Bonita Nelson, and she was from Fargo. And well before I knew I could have a career in voiceover, she wrote on the back of it, I went to a Lutheran school, so I grew up very religious. It says, Brock, go for your dreams. God loves you, and so does Mickey Mouse. And I kept that as a reminder because 80% of my work comes from the Walt Disney Company. And somehow 15 years ago, Bonita Nelson from Fargo, North Dakota, just knew that was going to happen. And
oh, don't you know? Can you do a Mickey? Hey, Pluto.
Oh, sure. I prefer Pluto because I like to do the dogs, and I do dog voices. And I was mentored. My mentor's Bill Farmer, who does Goofy and Pluto.
Yeah.
But sure, I like to do, gosh, hey, Pluto. You got the more Walt one, and then you have more of the Wayne Allwine, which some imagination, huh? A little rounder. I love all the Disney characters. My favorite is Winnie the Pooh. Of all. Oh, bother. There's something about him. Especially in the pandemic, I don't have to wear pants and I can eat as much honey as I'd like. It's a weird underbite.
My favorite from Winnie the Pooh is Gopher. Summer squash, summer succotash.
That's so good. Michael Goff is the guy who created the voice of the Gopher, and this is a really weird aside, but a couple years ago I had I'm obsessed with the Ghostbusters. And I had a Ghostbuster-themed birthday party at a local barcade here. And Michael Goff, who was the voice of Raphael and the Ninja Turtles in the late 90s, about season 3 or season 4, he did most of the Disney Afternoon stuff and originated the role of Gopher. He came and he played the theremin, which is that weird sci-fi instrument that's like... Uh-huh. He has a electronic theremin that he'll take to parties, and he showed up to my birthday party and played the theremin. Oh. And I'm doing this hand thing because that's how you play it. It doesn't have keys or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
the community is
amazing.
just really, wild.
Yeah, well, let's talk
wild.
about this. You have connections to all these beautiful things. I want to know what your first Disney gig was, but I also want to know first, like, okay, so you were this kid who had some talent and probably made funny voices and accents. What was the kind of inkling that made you go, like, did you go directly into this is what I want to do, or first your parents made you study medicine, or like what happened?
I wish my parents had made me do something practical. No, I went to college and I got my degree.
This is really fun. What are you talking about? And you're good at it.
No, I love my career and I love my trade. I just meant that in the interim, when I was in college, I went and pursued a degree in theater, which is not that practical. All to say, kids, you should pursue the arts and make art and do that. But if you're considering going to a private institution and paying a lot of money to learn to make art, well, just take that money and maybe cover your rent for a year or two and just do it. But that's all to say, I went to school to be a theater teacher initially because I was too afraid to try it. Okay. And I'd done impressions all my life. I grew up in Las Vegas and I grew up doing stand-up comedy and doing everything since I was like 14 years old. And I'd done theater acting even before that. And I just loved it. I loved everything about becoming someone else. I loved every single thing about creating a character or finding a character or mimicking somebody else. And you said anime earlier. The archetypes and impressions were really great ways for me to express different sides of my personality. And the earliest character that I would say I connected with, which is not uncommon for a lot of voice actors, was Robin Williams' Genie. That was the first time.
Don't get me started.
Right. So and I can't turn the camera because like there's a lot. I have a lot of. We just moved recently, so I have a lot of unpacking happening.
Wait,
But yes, my girlfriend and I moved in together. We met at the beginning of last year. Her name is Cameron, and she's probably watching. And I love you very much. And I will do the dishes later because they're stacked up in there.
Oh my God, Cameron! I'm so happy. I've been following your love story on Instagram, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I am too. Cameron Grimes. She's a soap opera star from The Young and the Restless. She also, my favorite thing she's ever done. She was in the movie Swordfish with Hugh Jackman, which is just hilarious.
That's not hilarious. That's amazing.
No, but that's an obscure. I mean, if you're not from that era, I mean, I'd seen it, but a lot of people don't know that movie. And it's so like we watched it together for the first time for her birthday, and we did it on Twitch. So we had all her friends show up to roast her watching it.
Oh my God!
I know. And I'm still with her. Can you believe that?
And she hasn't dumped you after that. Well, Cameron, good on you. Actually, I've known Brock since before y'all met, and he a cutie. You guys
you're very sweet. Yeah. I'm blushing. I'm turning Kool-Aid red right now.
Very excited. And Cameron is stunning. I've seen some red carpet pictures of her that she might have posted recently.
She is so funny too. She makes me laugh.
Yes, like, I can see there's a sense of humor there on both your parts.
Yeah, she's a silly lady. And incredibly patient. But
sorry, so you just moved, and that's why you're not going to show us your boxes.
Yes. So all to say that the studio itself, the actual booth, we call the lamp, and there's a bunch of like cool Aladdin theming that we have around it, and because of that character, the genie inspired every single thing in my sort of narrative growing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too. This is why I'm like excited because I like when they said who do you want to emulate? I'm like Robin Williams, and I was a little girl, but it didn't matter. And also because I loved Fern Gully, but my favorite character was Batty Coda, and he was Batty, so I learned that rap. I still know it. Yo, the name is Ratic.
It's Batty.
Is the Ratic. Yeah. And so I was like, I need to be Robin Williams. So of course, I never got to meet him, but it would have been a dream. So I love that you also connect to that.
Yeah, and through my Disney journey, I actually met the character designer Eric Goldberg, who created the Genie, and he designed my tattoo for me, which is
wow.
I'm getting it in a couple months. I don't have it yet.
Oh, I was like, where is the tat? Can we? Is it in some cards that we can? Well, I'm gonna moon you. So wait a minute. The Help Network is here. Hi guys, thanks for joining.
Yay!
Yes.
Hi Chip. Hi, Robert. Hi, everybody. Also, just because you had mentioned him earlier, Matthew David Rudd, I adore him. He's a great anime actor, and if people don't know who he is, they should look him up. He's on Jujutsu Kaisen, that big one. I don't know how to say that one, but he plays a panda bear on that, and he's particularly hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. So, The Help Network. Hey, yes. Who is it, Robert? Who's behind the screen? Chip, I don't know when you sign in.
It might be Chip.
Who it is. Yeah, I'm like, who's lurking?
If it's, well, here's the way we know. Help Network, what is it that I, Brock Powell, like to drink? And don't say Kool-Aid, because that's not funny. He'll know.
Gin and tonics.
G&T.
Yeah. I'd like to say that y'all voice actors make me and so many others happy. The characters you bring to life bring smiles to our faces, and getting to see the person behind always so interesting. This is not the Help Network, but the new person, LOL. To me, Robert is relatively new, but I don't know who else would be new in the Help Network. Thank you, Q Gunslinger, for your lovely comment. So Powell, tell me, or Broxito. The Spanish people will say Broxito, little Brock.
Oh, I love it.
So what was the first gig that you got? Like, once you started, auditioning and like grinding, because that's what it freaking is. Like, I was looking at my folder of MP3 auditions, and I need to do a count. There are way too many, and the number I've booked out of those is just like. So when you started hitting the pavement, what was the one job that you got? It could have been a tiny thing, but you're like, oh, well, this is a step closer. I'm getting paid. Maybe just $10, but I'm getting paid for a gig.
Yeah. No, it's life changing. Just that first, like even just a little bit, you're like, working for Disney, weirdly at the theme park at the age of, I think I was 19 or 20, and I was so young then. And
feel free to talk in voices the whole hour. I am happy to listen to all of it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was 20 years old and I worked at the theme park.
And I was the voice of, for a very little time, I voiced Crush from Finding Nemo at the live show at California Adventure. But met a bunch of people who you probably know who I'm still friends with. Isaac Robinson Smith, Joseph Fernandez, a bunch of amazing actors. Joe Hernandez is great. You should definitely meet him. He's a wonderful dude.
Cool. Haven't met them.
But there was a bunch of people in the Turtle Tank. And for those who don't know that show, it basically is like a live digital puppet show that there is a character that comes out to talk to the kids. Oh, dude, you so totally rock. Give me some Fed, noggin, dude. And then you take live. Yeah. Tubular, and you do a lot of like live Q&A with the kids, like 15-minute show. And that was my first taste of a professional voiceover gig. And very quickly I was like, this is the gig, not the environment. I'm going to go to LA. This is what I want. This is where I want to do it. So then I transferred from there, and I worked at Star Tours, working to ride so I could become a tour guide. Because if you become a tour guide at Disney, you can make quite a bit, and you make a lot off of the tips. So I got to do that.
And you can practice using your fabulous voice as you guide people through the park.
And you meet people firsthand who you would later do impressions of. So I gave a tour to I knew Patrick Warburton through tours, and then have met him since. But there was a particular character in Star Tours. There was a character in Star Tours that was Patrick Warburton voiced a little robot in the queue, but they pitched him up so he didn't sound like himself. And as we're going through the exit, we're skipping the line, and I was like, oh, it's unfortunate because you're not going to hear this really annoying robot. And he turns to me, I swear, and he goes, oh, it's funny because it's me. And that's exactly what he did. Now he's
That's so him. I love it. So good.
Yeah, it was
okay.
fun.
So at this point, are you doing that and auditioning, or are you just doing that? Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have an agent? Or are you doing non-union auditions? What's happening?
So I did not have an agent. I think I made my own demo, which was don't do that. And I was sending it around.
At the beginning, it's amazing if you did that, you know?
No, absolutely. And I encourage people to just record yourself and get that down. But I'm not gatekeeping in terms of you need to spend this much money on a demo.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, I wasn't quite ready to put myself down on tape. So that's a journey you have to take for yourself. Okay. But from there, I had someone point me in the direction of Bill Farmer, who
is the sweetest person.
The best. He's the best human.
Yeah.
He runs a demo company, and he was looking to actually start teaching and taking on a student. And I was looking for a mentor, and so I wrote him a letter, and the rest was kind of history. He took me under his wing, and that was really what amplified everything. Was the perspective of a literal Disney legend.
What year is this? Like, how many years ago is this?
Oh man, 2012, 2013.
Okay, so it's been a good while. That's incredible. And so what did he do? Did he start? He coached you. Did he intro you to some casting directors? Like, how did it go down?
The coaching first, and then he and his son, my best friend Austin, they ran a demo company, just the two of them, called Toonhouse. I've since come on years later, and now I work as the assistant director and the copywriter. So I run a demo business with Bill and Austin, who made my first demo.
Oh my God, we need to put this out there. I didn't know this. I wish I'd known. People are constantly asking me for this. I'd love to share the information.
Totally, I'll get you all that.
Booty Farts, are you taking notes right now? We have a watcher called Booty Farts 22. He needs to take notes so he can do his demo with you.
Toonhouse, Booty Farts. Find Toonhouse.
Toonhouse, cool.
I just want to do Booty Farts demo so we can put like a shout out from Booty Farts on the website.
Dude, I shout out Booty Farts every chance I get because A, he's a good person, now a dear friend, a supporter of the arts, all the good things, an aspiring voice actor. Yeah, he's always taking notes. I know. Actually, he has a little cameo in my film, Morgan's Mask, but anytime I say his screen name, the guests always just laugh, and I feel like it's a great thing.
We share two initials, BF and BF. Maybe I should go Booty Fart Powell. That'd be a good. Can I borrow that?
Do it. I mean, I don't know. Booty, is that okay? Okay, so you run this demo company. Rad. Do you continue?
No. Do I?
No. I want to expand on all of this. Okay, so then once you're working with Bill, what was that? What was the Disney gig that you booked? Was it exciting? Was it one line? Was it a recurring character? What was it?
So the first gig I booked was in the theme park doing a voice live, like in the theme park, and then after that, the first like official walk-on gig I had was with I won't say the casting director's name because they don't like to get hit up, but the casting director at Walt Disney Imagineering hired me for a project in Florida to do some interstitial videos where they took the animatronics that existed and filmed them and had a voice actor dub different lines over it. So I did a bunch of different little videos for Walt Disney World. That was the first gig. That was about 9 years ago, maybe. And
at this point, you were just the ripe old age of 16.
Yeah, I was 20 something. I was like 20 years old, 21. Okay.
Because you're mad young, man.
I'm 32. I do not feel mad young.
Well, you look like you're 23, maybe.
You were so sweet.
Yeah. Hey, no. You know what? I don't feel like I'm 47, but I am. So that's what happens. I'm kidding. Shit, if I was 47, but I don't feel the age I am, so it's fine. Anyway, continuing on, I want to know that gig, that animation character that like you were so excited about.
Yes, so that gig led me to, and this is just the craziest thing. Disney was right; it really is a small world after all. There was someone that I worked with at the theme park. This is a key part of the story. So I worked at the theme park, and I met somebody there who later went on to work for casting at Disney Television Animation. And they knew I was pursuing it. We hadn't seen each other for 6 or 7 years. And they had mentioned me to a producer. And they brought me in for a single line for a show called Milo Murphy's Law. That was produced by Dan Povenmire, one of your previous guests.
Created by.
Produced, voiced, he did it all.
Yes, everything.
And Swampy Marsh, and both of them, Jeff Swampy Marsh and Dan Povenmire. Dan doesn't have a cool middle nickname, but I'll text him. We need to go do something. Dan the Griddle Povenmire, but he Dan
Doofy Schmertz Povenmire.
Yeah, Doofy's probably the best. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
And I don't think I ever told him this story, but when I was working at the theme park, I used to do impressions of Disney characters that I would see on the hats. So I was working at Star Tours, which if you're keeping up, if you're taking notes, Booty Fart, I worked at Total Chocolate Crush. Then I was a tour guide, but in between I worked at Star Tours, just as an attractions host. And I wore the cool pinstripe Han Solo pants.
Oh my God.
And I would stand on the ramp and have people go this way and that way to get their glasses. And I would do impressions of whatever the magic ear hats were. And one of the characters that was Perry the Platypus. And I would do, Perry the Platypus, how unexpected. And I would do over and over and over again. And years later, I would meet Dan, realize how terrible my impression was.
No, it's actually pretty good. I like it.
He's phenomenal. And he's got this equipment that is like, I don't know if he told you the story, but he literally has like his tonsils are special. He's got a special glottal flap. I don't want to give his secrets out, but that voice is particularly hard to sustain because it's so screechy. He actually has the musculature. I was wondering.
He's got the muscles.
He's got the muscles.
Yeah.
But so I worked in Murphy's Law. My first role was a nonverbal alien. It's the pilot episode of season 1 of Milo Murphy's Law, and they had me literally abducting Weird Al Yankovic, and I've got this weird drill, and I look at him, and the alien, I voiced 2 aliens, and they both go, and that was it. And that one gig turned into about two seasons of full-time work.
Because you do the alien more, or other characters came?
So that alien would come back.
Oh my God.
Because I was the voice of that alien, I would do that alien and then pick up 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Siri. That's okay.
You have to move around in circles for exercise.
I'm sorry I have to stand and breathe. These watches are so a bit bossy. I'm going to say something else, but they're bossy.
Hey, you can say anything you want on here.
Anything I want?
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best cartoon of all time.
Awesome.
Just
we've had guests from there on here.
I love that. So Milo Murphy's Law, Aliens turned into 2 seasons of work.
How did you create this alien?
I've always been a really big fan of D. Bradley Baker, and so I always was exploring and playing with creature voices. And I just didn't know that was something that other voice actors didn't put in their toolbox. So I had a whole bunch of different alien sounds. So they asked me for 3 or 4 alien samples before I got that one-line thing.
Oh, wow.
And I had them. And so I had not seeing the picture of the alien. I had like a big beefy xenomorph alien with the double mouth.
Can you give me a few alien sounds you do?
Absolutely, yeah. But apologies in advance because I'm using these AirPods and sometimes they clip. But I'm sucking my eyeball out of it.
And then back to the Disney ones.
And that's basically just that Stitch kind of, if people want to know what that is, that's just the bubble voice. But then you can add some fun stuff to that. Like if I had a little liquid, I can actually gargle it while I'm doing that sound. So it's like I can't, I'm too dry right now, but one second. Let me get my bang cotton candy energy.
I was going to ask if it was beer.
Yeah, I like talking voices. Yeah. Yeah, but that weird thing with the alien, that turned into a separate full-time thing, and now I do a lot of creature voices for Disney. I'm a lead creature vocalist on one show that's coming to Disney Junior, and then I'm doing a lot of creature voices with some other stuff. So that one little thing, yeah.
Holy cow, you're the alien specialist. Jeff Burns wants to know if you can do Louis Armstrong as an alien.
I see skies of black, 'cause I'm in space, and there's no light on my face. There you go.
Oh my God, too funny. This is amazing. Wow. So just one little, well, it's also such a specific thing you do, and then there's all these iterations of it. So it's like you're the, you're the D. Bradley to creatures, or to aliens, could we say that?
Yeah, no, I feel really hesitant to say that because I respect these so much, but I definitely think
you got creatures, you got aliens. You're staying in your lane, boo.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your space lane. That's one of the cool things from that experience because I worked with Dee doing creatures on Milo for 2 seasons, and the nature of it, we would have to double each other, so I would have to listen to what he was doing. I don't know if he learned anything from me. I would assume that he didn't because I know that, the man's insanely genius.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from just listening to him in playback and finding not just placements that he was doing, but, and this is the big thing with creature voice, is you have to check in with your body and figure out where, cool, that person can make that sound. I mentioned Dan earlier. Dan can do Doofenshmirtz. if a regular set of vocal cords, if you're not careful, you can't do all the things. Your instrument is different than mine.
Yeah.
So when I did the Kool-Aid Man, I was able to do it without fatigue because I also have like a weird patch of skin at the back of the throat that was allowing me to do, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And it doesn't, I could do that all day. And maybe that's because I watched pro wrestling as a kid. And I would just impersonate all.
So you developed a patch of skin back there.
There's definitely a little vocal hemorrhage there, but eventually you build on it and it's good.
But that is a smart thing. I think that at the beginning of my auditioning career, not my regular career, just the auditioning
just
one.
The auditioning.
I would try to do everything, all the accents and the languages, and then I've auditioned for World of Warcraft a couple times, and after a couple takes of an audition, I go, I can't do this. This would not be sustainable for 4 hours. I cannot. So I told my agents, I'm sorry, I'm going to bow out. And they're like, we get it. And I was like, oh, wow. I thought they were going to be like, oh, you should try, because that's what I felt at the beginning. But we have to know what we can and can't do with our voices.
Well, and when those auditions are due. So if you had a Warcraft audition on a Monday, like, I'm sorry if I didn't have time to do it on the weekend. No, because you're going to be shredded.
Yeah. Well, but then if you book it, and then you work 4 hours, and then right after that you have another booking, you might fuck yourself.
Well, I will say, Andrea Toya is such an advocate for actor safety, and I respect the hell out of her on multiple levels. But I actually have here, because I thought we might bring this up, this is the voice straw. Oh!
It's the booty farts! He gave me one. Yes! Who told us about those? Maybe Sissy Jones? Somebody told me about them, and so we bought them.
They're great. So Mindy Pack created these with Reena Gupta, she's my ENT. ENT to the stars.
Yes, she is.
She helps keep, between the two of them, and my other friend Jan Johns, who I want to shout out, who's an incredible creature vocalist and actor.
Jan!
You know Jan. You met Jan.
Shit! You know what? Every time I talk to people, I'm going to bring her on as a guest. I keep writing down who I need to bring on because I get
You should bring Joe Hernandez, Matthew David Rudd, Jan Johns. Bring Brock Powell back because he's a hoot. I think he's sexy.
Jan is so sweet.
But Jan also works with
Joe Hernandez. Who else?
Joe Hernandez, Matthew David Rudd. Okay. Who else? Who else can I garner a favor from? I'm just kidding. No,
and you can text me when you have more suggestions.
No, I don't think I'll do that.
Fuck you. Because I want to bring people I don't know to like pick their brains and
Yeah, and do you know Chris T? I'll get you Chris' number too. Okay, we'll make it happen.
Chris, is he cute?
In a certain way. No, Chris is a he.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
He, him. No, it's fine. Christy could sound like I was saying Christy.
Right.
Very subtle. You see, the phonation is very subtle. If you're not careful, that is my Alan Tudyk.
I'm going to bring everybody except that Jeff Burns guy. All right, I'll put Jeff Burns on my list. I'm going to have to start doing these 3 times a week. Twice isn't enough.
My goodness. But yeah, so I brought these up because vocal health is super important. Yeah. I do about 15 to 20 minutes of vocal warm-ups and cool-downs every single day because and this is the truth. You were talking about the number of auditions that you have. I audition for creature work, and just because I don't book it, my vocal folds are still working the same amount, whether I get the paycheck or not. Yeah. So you have to be really careful when you're auditioning for multiple things, because if you're trying to do commercial and video games and animation, you may have to prioritize which ones happen at certain days. Because if you're doing Call of Duty call outs for 45 minutes and then you think you're going to do Pepsi Cola, have a Pepsi, goodbye.
Yeah, no, exactly. You need to know.
And I've made that mistake so many times. I've gotten into auditions and I'm like, shoot, I'm too, you get too soft or airy. And the voice straw helps make sure the phonation is happening, and it literally uses, and you can use plastic straws, little coffee straws, but I recommend these for California people because we don't have coffee straws anymore.
And I used to carry a little coffee straw around in my makeup kit for my warm-ups while I drive. I put it there and I drive, and then it's just gross,
It's gross.
Yeah. Can you show us kind of a little, what happens?
I feel honored. I'm not prepared at all. So first of all, I have my vocal cup. I do do you do the cup with the straw?
I haven't yet. I've only used the straw.
So I love the straw exercise. This was something I did before sessions with my buddy Brad Venable, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year.
Oh,
but Brad was one of my favorite human beings and actors, and again, another vocal health advocate. So Brad and I worked with a group called Monster Squad that we're still continuing on, which is a creature voice group that actually has one part advocacy for actor safety and one part outreach to casting directors who need auditions for creatures and monsters and don't want to just use the same people, including myself. So Brad was really passionate about that. But we used to do this we did this exercise before a Final Fantasy session. And it's as simple as this. You take a straw, you want to insert it in your mouth, not your nose, not your eyeball, but
not other orifices.
No, if we're on the job, in the mouth. So you're going to put it here. You're going to pucker like you're blowing a little kiss, like a and then you want to puff your cheeks out like one of those little small world trumpeters. Or, we talked about Louis Armstrong earlier. He used to puff his cheeks out to do the... So you want to get the Satchmo cheeks. And then you put the straw in. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from a low, like a car engine sound. Ooh, ooh. And we're going to do 3 in a row. In through the nose and out through the mouth. The goal is to feel the air going from the straw and nowhere else. So make sure it's not coming out of your nose and out the side. Then once we get that basic sound down, we breathe again. Take the straw out, do a quick dog pant to make sure the placement's right. You want to make sure that the larynx isn't too high or else you could hurt yourself. So you want to set your larynx down a little bit.
That's what the gynecologist said.
Mine too.
That sounded kind of okay. Go.
So then what we're going to do is we'll do it one more time, and we'll go from low to high and kind of a trill. So it'll sound like this. Woo, woo, woo. So you're making I had this neighbor when I first moved to town. Her name was Rhoda, and every time I would book, she was an 85-year-old Jewish lady who moved out from New York. And had a very bitter rivalry with Jerry Lewis. And it was my favorite thing ever. But every time I would book a job, she would come out of her apartment and go, woo, woo, woo. So I call this the Rhoda.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo. So we're going to do a Rhoda. And make sure you're getting the puff out. Yeah. So we can stop after a little bit. Okay. And there's a couple things that you should notice. You should notice that the closure is happening a little easier. There's a little more clarity, and almost instantly, your voice is in your mask. Like I'm vibrating in my nose a little more. My voice went up about half an octave. And something we didn't even talk about was I actually ended up losing my voice on a gig very early on and had to go through 8 weeks of vocal rehabilitation. So this is something I'm really passionate about because you could hurt yourself if you're not careful. And thanks to the union and the corporation that realized there was a problem, I was able to get everything taken care of.
Oh, good,
which was really great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this thing is incredible. I use it for my especially for my early morning recording sessions, and I warm up on the way over because I know that my voice is not warmed up yet. And immediately after, I have an 8-minute warm up that I follow, and immediately afterwards, I feel like my voice is butter.
Send me your warm up. I usually recommend Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platz.
Oh, cool. I was having some voice issues, so I actually went to a specialist here in LA. I forgot her name. I will find it and send it to you. But while I was in session with her, we recorded that warm up, so I use it. She was incredible because she helped me figure out some stuff with my own voice because I was starting to get a lot of sore throats after talking at cons for hours. I was dealing with serious fatigue. So, you just gotta take care of stuff.
Which I was going to say as a general note, like women tend to talk higher and men tend to talk lower. Part of the weird thing is and people can't see it. I'm 6'5". I'm a big guy. I'm a big Viking guy. So my entire life, I kept getting these really horrible sore throats because I would talk down here because I wanted to fill out I'm a big dude. So I didn't want to talk up here. But in talking up here, I've voice matched Josh Gad. I've voice matched a bunch of different celebrities that have higher voices.
Talk to me like Olaf.
Oh, hi, I'm Olaf, and I like warm hugs. I was thinking, how about yellow? Wait a second, yellow and snow? No go. So I've never officially done Olaf for the Disney company, but I have voice matched Josh for some other stuff.
Oh my God. Who else? Who else do you voice match? I love this stuff.
So if people are video game fans, I voiced Adam Sandler's character Dracula in the Hotel Transylvania 3 video game. And I've done some Drac work on the last couple movies. I don't say blah, blah, blah. Welcome to Hotel Transylvania. Okay, honey, that's very good.
Awesome.
Adam Sandler was definitely one. I've done Robert Downey Jr.'s one that's pretty easy and pretty much in there. So here's the deal. So first of all, if I'm doing Robert Downey Jr., I just basically am doing my own voice. I start to get really important, and I make a lot more money talking very quickly. So that's.
I look away because I want to just hear it, and it's kind of awesome. Yeah.
I've done Luke Skywalker for Star Wars toys. I've done a lot of voice matching for toys and video games.
That's awesome. What has been your absolute freaking favorite gig? I know it's a hard thing, but like a character that you love so much, or the experience was just so amazing that you're like, oh my God, I love, driving onto the whatever lot and recording that.
Yeah, there's something that I just recently did some final ADR for that'll be out around Christmas time, and that's all I'll say. For a corporation that is very near and dear to my heart. I cried. I cried after this last session because I finally got to see the animation with the voice in tandem. And not just my voice, but like my voice with some other characters that I really feel very close to. And it was surreal because I'm watching the ADR playback, and I'm so used to doing ADR for voice matching where I'm having to match and interweave another actor's performance with mine. So I'm picking up a line or two. But in this situation, it was me from a year and a half ago matching the animation, and they created this character based on in a movie. It's a movie, and it was really wild. So that was pretty surreal. When that comes out, it may not mean as much to other people as it means to me, but it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, exactly.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm at with that. But the most recent series of gigs that I did that I can talk about, I've worked with the team that did the Big Hero 6 shorts. And
yes.
Andy Wood and the whole team on that, Priam and everybody, they are incredible artists that basically use the Big Hero 6 property to test Disney's new technology, like using the Unity engine and this really cool stuff. So they've been doing a bunch of them, and I've been lucky enough to voice about 6 of them. And most recently, I did one that was at the Sundance Film Festival because it was fully interactive. So it was like a video game.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was super fun. And I voiced Gertie the Glitch, TJ Miller's character, voiced by Brooke Whelan in the shorts, gets a glitch in this simulation, and I voiced this little baby glitch that causes all kinds of problems.
How does it sound?
Lots of baby sounds, so lots of... So a lot of that kind of stuff.
And the shirt helps to...
Bob Bergen taught me this secondhand because he does it on interviews. The cloth was Mel Blanc's trick. When Mel Blanc, who did Bugs Bunny and all the Looney Tunes, would do a baby sound, he would just grab a tie or like a kerchief and do the... And I don't know why. I can't tell you sonically what's happening that makes it sound like a baby. But if I were to do that sound without the cloth, it doesn't have the same... It doesn't sound the same. But I'm not changing anything I'm doing vocally. All I'm doing is covering my mouth with a piece of cloth.
Wow, that's incredible.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah.
Right. But you are adding your own spin to this wheel, and that's what's going to, make you book a job separate to other people. I was going to ask if somebody by the screen name of Corn Relish was Cameron, because they wrote, Brock, my favorite person in the whole wide world, but I don't think it's your girlfriend.
No, hi, Corn. No, it's a good friend. Exactly what you were saying. Like, I try not to think too much about like what causes me to book a job or why I book a job or what connects to where. Yeah. None of that's in your control. Like, it really isn't. You're going to make yourself sick if you try to like give them what they want in an audition.
Yes.
But, I just try to have fun. And you talk about the slog of auditions this last year. the pandemic's been really hard because you lose that fun of even getting to go in the booth to see each other at the audition occasionally.
Yeah. Or at the recording, if we do book it, we're just on Zoom, stuck in our closets, and it's not as fun.
It doesn't feel
like
any different.
Bumping
Right.
into, Bowser at the waiting room or whatever. Like that's the thing it's less fun. Jeff asked if we already spoke about your the demos that you do, and we have. Danny, if you can put it in the chat again, remind me the website for the demos.
I believe it's just toonhouse.com.
Toonhouse.com.
I will say right now, this is really crazy, but we've got about a 9-week waiting list because we are so back. We have so many people waiting.
Yeah.
We did more demos last year than we did in the previous 5 years.
Well, because I think everyone also realized, and actors who've been doing film and TV and theater, all of a sudden are like, oh, this is the only thing that can be done now. So all of a sudden we are realizing it's just like, yeah.
I would say to people that feel like, I have so much respect for fellow artists, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I work with Toonhouse, and Austin and Bill are so great, is we try to keep our prices incredibly competitive. But if I were to be honest, we are underpricing ourselves quite a bit because we put a lot of custom copy, custom music. It's all tailor fit to the actor, multiple revisions included. But the goal is we are all working artists. We're all voice actors at the group. Austin's also a musician. I'm also a writer. So we have all these other artistic abilities that we try to bring for our fellow artists. And it's been a really fun experience.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you, man. And so many people here are getting into, voice acting or understanding what they need to do to start pursuing it, so it's always great stuff. And this is amazing. Thank you for bringing it up. Great little demo. Would you like to share something that is coming out soon? Or most of us have NDAs for a lot of things. Is there anything you can speak about that's really exciting?
I'm honestly having to think about it. No, I can't talk about that.
No. Well,
I will say right now, if you want to watch something that I just recently did that's out in the ether that's super fun, I got to work with Marvel this year doing a series called Long Story Short, which are these like little 3-minute encapsulations of comic book storylines presented in a really funny, boppy way. I love them quite a bit.
Oh, cool. Sorry. And Jeff is giving a little discount, VO 2020, for a slight discount at the end. For Toonhouse or for the...
Oh, no, that's for Voice Straw. Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, that VO 2020 will be a discount for the Voice Straws.
Thank you.
So you can look cool, oh gosh.
Yes. You did mention a little giveaway. Are you interested in talking about it?
Yeah, I'd like to engage in this. So I mentioned 2 things that I've been a part of. We hardly talked about the Kool-Aid Man, which is totally fine because I
Let's talk about it. We still have time. Can we go over 10 minutes because we started a little bit late?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So we're not ready to end. Don't worry.
I was lucky enough to voice the Kool-Aid Man for over 5 or 6 years. I have since passed on the picture, but I still believe deeply that voicing the Kool-Aid Man has been like the biggest honor of my life because he's the embodiment of all things summer and joy. I have donated my voice in perpetuity to the Kool-Aid Festival in Hastings, Nebraska. Kool-Aid was invented in a small town in America called Hastings, and they do a Kool-Aid Fest that raises money for different causes. So if you ever have the opportunity to go there, there's a museum, and it's the whole thing. It's really cool. I'm going to be giving a Big Hero 6 Baymax with Mochi, who I've Harry Baby, who I've gotten to voice in a couple of the shorts.
How does it sound again?
Wow.
And then I also voiced Mochi Zilla, who's the big monster version. But that's all to say, I will sign one of these and a Kool-Aid guy. There'll be 2 giveaways to the person who follows me on Instagram and comments on a post that they watch this broadcast. You can find me at Brock Talks, BROCKTALKS. You'll win a Big Hero 6. And I would say, why don't you comment on one of my posts about the Big Hero 6 shorts so I know that you've been paying attention. And If you follow me on Twitter.
Wait, let's give them a secret. Like, there's got to be a special password. Like, they got to say, like, monkey butt or something. So that you know specifically they were on here.
Let's say, I almost said meowie zowie. Meowie zowie. You have to figure out how to spell that.
Yes.
So you have to comment meowie zowie with cat eyes, a cat emoji, and you will win. I will mail this to you signed. This is these are brand new. These just came out from Box Lunch. These are Baymax with the little emoji.
Yes.
Super fun.
Also, if y'all don't want the darn Funko, you can still give Brock a follow. And
yeah, you can if you like.
Yeah, because you're always putting out really fun content. Sorry,
I try to.
Continue with the Kool-Aid Kid. And Danny has put your Instagram in the chat so they can all click on it.
Amazing. And the Twitter is different. I'm trying to figure that out right now because there is a little old lady who shares my name.
No.
On Twitter, and she has not posted in 20 years. But
that's hysterical.
So my Twitter handle is Brock Talks, like talk like a TikTok, TOCK. Brock Talks. I think that's what it is.
Danny just put it in the chat-a-roo.
Awesome. So if you follow me on Twitter and you go ahead and just DM me on Twitter and follow me, mention that you watch this, you can win a Kool-Aid packet. These are also brand new. These are fun. These are actually literal Kool-Aid packets in a Funko form.
That's insane. How does the Kool-Aid Man sound?
Oh, yeah. And
Is that
it's great.
all he says?
That's all he says. He's the Hodor of advertising. Oh, yeah. So it's really expressive.
It's kind of like the Pillsbury Doughboy. You're like...
I know. I would love... Oh, that's another one. No, the advertising mascots are super fun because you get fans of the thing from their childhood. And even though you weren't the voice, like Kool-Aid has been around since the 50s, I obviously was
not the original. Wait, you weren't born in the 40s to voice the guy
no,
in the 50s?
I was. I'm a time traveler. But I didn't work in voiceover till the late aughts. So when people come and they like, oh, I love this thing from my childhood and I love what you're doing with it, that's a really cool thing as well.
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so cool to be the voice of something like that. I auditioned for the Cholula bottle lady. I did not book her, but it's okay. So many things.
I think having at least one of those in, on the bucket list is cool. I have not had the chance yet to, but breakfast cereal mascots are really big for me. So like Boo Berry.
The tiger.
They're great. That would be really fun.
That would be so great.
Yeah, just because, again, that's really more to do with my own memories of childhood and
totally. Totally. Talk to me about hanbe in Sekiro's Shadows Die Twice. What was that
I'm in
like?
my garage, and I found this, by the way. This was the Game Informer that came out about 7 months before the game was released, and I kept it because it was really cool to hear them talk about the game before it came out. I worked with Activision and the Help Network, and I was cast as hanbe the Undying, who was a really unique kind of character because he was a tutorial character through a game that is incredibly difficult. And FromSoft, the production company that made the video game, also created these games called Dark Souls, which were very known for being very hard and difficult. So they created my character as like a tutorial character so that people could gradually learn different move sets and stuff and have an easier time. But they didn't just make this like character that was like a crash test dummy. In the story, there were these warriors who were cursed with immortal life and these centipedes inside of them. And so I was an immortal warrior named Hanbe, who was kind of like the Eeyore of Sekiro. So very down here. And a lot of it was very, will you help me? Yeah. Please help me.
Dude, that's sexy. It's a little Liam Neeson-y there.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of that. But he was a very morose character. And essentially, like, he's lived so long. All his friends were dead. All of his kids were dead. And he just wants to die. And he can't. So being someone who's also struggled with depression, it was really fun because I felt like I could layer in some of those days when I don't feel so great into the performance. And I've since heard from people that also struggle that they resonate with that character, which was really freaking cool. Because to be a part of a game like that, that I think is a really niche game, and a lot of people really enjoyed it, and the challenge, and to hear back from people that they enjoyed what I did with that. Because we did not originate the voice. It was a dub project.
Okay.
So I came in and I was a localization group that took the original actor's performance, and that guy was so great, and he gave me such a great bouncing off point. And having worked in dubs before, I've worked on Mob Psycho and Lupin and One Punch Man. I love anime deeply.
One Punch Man, yeah.
I love One Punch Man. So getting to work on a video game where it was the looping experience, but with the interactive storytelling of like 40, 60 hours of content. So you're doing just so much more recording. It was really interesting to have to create a character starting with the inspiration from the original Japanese actor and then sort of fleshing him out, no pun intended, because he's a zombie guy. But
gross.
It was really cool. Hanbe's near and dear to my heart, and so I always love to talk about that one because that was really fun.
Yeah, La Rhythm also said it sounds a little bit like Soldier 76. Have you played Overwatch?
I have. I am terrible, and having just been compared to Fred Tatasciore just made me squeal internally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Overwatch. I am garbage at it, but I do know that I can only play as Sombra, and that's all I will play as.
You liar. You're not more garbage than I am at it, because I am like the queen of garbage at playing Overwatch. It's too hard.
How many characters are there now? I like 48 now?
30?
There's more
Maybe 32?
Overwatch characters than Pokemon, yeah?
I'm not quite sure, but I don't think we've hit, I think just 32 or 33. Y'all know, who know, 30 something. Yeah, early 30s, not...
just like me.
Yes. I also want to ask you about the billionaire guy eccentric.
Oh, yes. Billionaire Guy Eccentric was a one-off fill-in in an episode of Rise of the TMNT, which was really, really fun. And they wanted TJ Miller. And it was TJ Miller specifically from Silicon Valley, in which he plays a billionaire. So the writers of that episode named him Billionaire Guy Eccentric. And he hosts a crazy drone competition that Donatello has to go through. That was really cool because I've worked with Nickelodeon a few times in the past, but to get to do like a guest star on something that really meant a lot to me. And it's so many amazing people on that show. You want to talk about like Roger Craig Smith and Eric Bauza.
Eric Bauza's in everything, so we can just assume.
It's just assumed. But it's that was really fun. I'm a big TMNT fan.
Yeah, that's such a big deal, man. That's one of the things that we grew up with, or
it's interesting too, because like if you told me that I was going to get to do that and work on those things that I cared so much about, I think I would have. You frame your success in such a different way when you're away from it. You know, one thing that I would challenge people that get into acting is to learn to savor each success, because they can be a little bit apart. Or if they're really close together, you take them for granted and you assume that it's all kind of part of it. But there are peaks and there are valleys. And it really is each artist's job to remember that someone else's success is not your failure, but it is up to you to savor your success. Because if you don't celebrate it and you don't celebrate yourself, who's going to do it?
Absolutely. Two of my girlfriends just booked co-star roles. One opposite frickin' Sarah Paulson. The other one was on FBI, that show in New York. And when their episodes came out, or when they shot, I was like, we're going to celebrate. And we had tequila and we did this thing. And they're like, it's just one line. And I'm like, I know. And do you know how many auditions you've done before getting that one line? Like, this is a big deal. And they were like, oh, you're right. But it's like, fuck, we spend so much time auditioning, and I have come to love all the auditions I do in the booth, because it's just expanding my little like toolbox of characters, because every single character is a little bit different, and even if I have that one voice, I give it a slight different this or that for that. And so I actually have gotten really excited with all the auditions I do, but the bookings are so few and far between. So we have to really, I booked a little thing for Nickelodeon yesterday, and I'm like, oh, yay! Like, it's always
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's tiny, but still, it's good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I agree with you. I was just going to ask, as we wrap up, like, if there were any words of advice for, like, aspiring voice actors, but also just following your dreams in whatever capacity, I think that it's still the same kind of struggle, right? Acting is very hard to pursue, but pursuing any dream that you really, really love is hard. So what are those, and you went there, so I really appreciate that. And is there anything else that you'd like to just share,
spend less time. Yeah, of course. Something that I'm dealing with myself and my kind of deconstruction of the last year. Spend less time on social media. Spend more time being social and making media. So if you have a way to make your stuff and make your art, do it. Keep your head down. Let the work speak for itself. End of the day. And a voiceover, it literally speaks for itself. So that's all you can do.
Absolutely. I've been thinking about the social media thing too. We do spend so much time on there, and it can be hard to decipher what's real and what isn't, because, we post the things we want to post. We're not showing all of our lives. And so we have to constantly remind people that that's what's the case, and remind ourselves that, not being on a screen can be good for our psyche. I'm trying to read every night before I go to bed, just to have the pages,
that's great.
And not be stuck on a screen. And so I think
some analog. No, that's great. Reading's really great. Writing, journaling. I have a journal right here that, as we're talking, I'm writing notes or things down. I journal for about 5 to 10 minutes every day. I meditate every day. Not nearly enough, because I'm still severe unmedicated ADHD, which is kind of my superpower. But with it comes a lot of things that you have to be really careful about what you ingest, physically, spiritually, emotionally, because your headspace can get really affected.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to choose joy, and I'm trying to be joyful for the things that I get to do. And exactly what you said, I get to audition. I've got 7 auditions that I'm going to go do right now. And part of me is I have 7 auditions. But the other part of me is if I told myself 15 years ago working at Disney that one day I was going to be talking to a voice actor from a video game that is one of many people's favorites about the things I've gotten to do, and then I would conclude that to go do 7 auditions for things that will soon to be someone else's favorites.
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. Brock, what a wonderful thing. I forgot to mention Craig Cady passed through and said hi on the chat. You did go see him perform once upon a time.
Of course I did. That was the last concert I went to, was seeing Craig.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so we have a friend who sings with Frankie Valli. He's one of the 4 seasons. I call him the mating season. Yeah, well, he made that up. I can't take that. But I was like, which season are you? Funny. He's like, the mating season. I'm like, okay, great. He popped through and said hi. I don't know if he's still around, but I forgot to mention that. I met Brock at Theodore Chin's pool party, and he's our Zenyatta from Overwatch, and since then we've coincided there a couple times, and then no, I lie, I met you at Dan Povenmire's house.
Dan Povenmire's, because we were having not pupusas. What were we having? We were having
arepas, Venezuelan arepas. Yes. Yeah, because his wife is Venezuelan, and that's, I ended up there, and we met, and then you were so adorable. You disappeared with his daughters for a little bit, and you come back, and guys, Dan Povenmire's daughter had put makeup all over Brock. He had sparkles all over his face. He had these little devil horns and a little tutu, something. They put stuff on you, and
well, that I brought. The tutu was mine.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yeah. The makeup wasn't. I get confused with those two. And she was just having the time of her life. And now she might be the lead of his next TV show. So that's incredible. Have you worked on Hamster and Gretel?
I can neither confirm nor deny my involvement or awareness of a show by that name. But it sounds, if I have the opportunity.
Dan has spoken about it on this Twitch. So I am not breaking any NDAs. If not, I was very scared. I'm like, can you talk about future stuff? Yeah, we're doing this thing called Hamster and Gretel. You worked on it, and I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
Wait, did you work on it?
I did.
Okay,
I have the pilot. I don't know what's happening now since it's been continued.
I am involved.
Sweet, amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, great.
Call me later. We'll talk about it.
Yes, exactly. Guys. And somehow there's no photographic evidence of this magical moment. There are comments happening, words to live by. Look, Booty Farts was loving all you were saying about be more social and make more media. That's incredible. I absolutely, I agree. I connect. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your fun and your energy. I'm so glad you were able to join. And I have one shout out, guys. I would like you to help me with it. Jakob Florin27 asked for a boom. My character in Valorant is called Raze, and she loves explosives, and she just goes boom. But I'd like you to give me boom in whatever character voice you'd like.
Okay. Boom. There's very
great.
little boom.
That was great.
I love tiny voices. I love little character voices.
I agree. They're so freaking cute. Dude, it's so happy. It's so happy. I'm so happy to see you. You moved. You seem quite happy with your girl. I'm really excited for you. Hopefully we can hang soon with our vaccinations and everything underway in California and the outdoors.
I love that.
Yeah. And guys, give him a follow because y'all want the to see his fun little puts on the Insta and the characters. Corn Relish says, love you, Brock and Carolina. The Hop Network says, thank you for the stream. It's been a great chat. Everyone's been very involved. Jeff Burns, you rock. Guys, keep booming and booping. We're live. We're live. We're live. Yes, thank you and welcome. Guys, I am super psyched to have Catherine Kavari on today. Not only does she play Miss Marvel in all of the Marvel animation stuff, but she's done a ton of film and TV and creates her own sketch comedy characters, which I am fascinated by, and I'll get into that soon. Hi and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I really am very excited to be here.
Super cool. People start trickling in. I'm very excited. Hi, Rebel Darius. Hi, Michelle Noir Studios. Gemini's, Gems saying hi, and Jasmine live, hi. Yes, I'm watching the chat, and I'll have, as they ask questions, I'll bring them up. But dude, so you, oh my God, you're a multi-talented, I want to say quadruple threat. I don't know if you sing and dance, but you do a ton of stuff.
But yes, thank you. I mean, I do sing and dance. I don't know if anyone wants to hear it. I do it for myself and for whoever will watch and listen, but it's not on a professional level by any means.
I dance alone in my room and I sing in the shower. So
yes, all the time.
So you were born and raised in Oakland, California, to immigrant Iranian parents.
Yes.
Fabulous. When did you start believing, understanding, loving that the acting bug bit you? Was it as a young kid?
Yeah, I was a young kid. I'm an only child, and so there was a lot of and I watched a lot of TV because it was the 80s and 90s, and my parents were just like, "Great, here you go." I watched a lot of TV, and so because it was such a big part of my everyday life, I wanted to act very early on. And I used to again, I was an only child, so I used to watch things and then go back to my room and then reenact them. I'd practice crying in bed before it was time to go to sleep. It was just, I had to entertain myself. These are ways that I kept myself entertained.
Yeah.
And my parents knew it early on. I told them multiple times, and multiple times they were like, "That's hilarious. You're not doing that." Yeah, I literally told my dad, because my dad's very good at being a go-getter, and he's he can be very motivated if he wants to be. And on multiple occasions as a child, I was like, "Dad, can you just be my manager? Can you just represent me and try to get me out there?" And he was like, "I will do no such thing. I am not throwing you out to the sharks. You do what you want when you grow up. I will not be a part of it." I was like, "All right, well, there goes that." So that's kind of how my childhood went. And then at one point in high school, they were like, "Okay, go to college, do whatever, get a degree in something useful, and then you can do whatever you want to do."
Yeah.
So that was the deal when I was 16.
So you went to med school?
No, I didn't go to medical school, but I did go. I went to. I studied public health at Berkeley, and then while I was there, I took theater classes. I loved them. But it was one of those situations where I was like, "Oh, this is really impractical." I didn't tell a lot of people that I wanted to do it because I was in the sciences at that point, and it was weird to be like, "Oh, by the way, I also want to be an actor." I just felt I just couldn't bring myself to say it.
Yeah,
it was this deep, dark secret. And then I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go the pre-med route. That's the best way forward. So I went straight to grad school right after undergrad, and I went to grad school.
God.
In London for a year. It was a 1-year master's program, and it was in London, and my school was right next to RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. And so my bus would go by there every single day, and I'd longingly look out the window I need to be there right now. And also we got really, really great discounted theater tickets as students in London. We had the prices were great and the seats were wonderful. And so I saw a lot of theater there. And it just wasn't going away. It got worse in London. And so I remember just calling my mom while I was there.
It got worse.
It got so much worse. It was eating away at me. And I called my mom. I was like, "This isn't going away." And she's like, "All right, whatever. You got your degrees. Come home, do whatever you want to do." And I was like, "All right, cool." I really needed them to be okay with it because I'm an only child, And I was just I can't have them feel miserable.
Oh my gosh.
So I did. I came back and I had spoken to one of my mentors in undergrad who I never disclosed to previously that I had this dream all my life. And I came back and I was like, I really want to act now. And he was like, "Huh." He's like, "Well, why do you want to act?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just like being different people." And he was like, "You like being different people?" Okay. Have you thought about maybe going to therapy?
Have you thought about psychology? Do you need some?
That's exactly how it went down. He was like, "Have you thought about therapy?" And I was like, okay, this is not the way that I thought the conversation was going to go. So I came home and I told my mom, and I was like, yeah, my undergrad professor or mentor said this. She was like, he asked if you wanted to go to therapy. I was like, yeah, not that there's anything wrong with therapy, but not for this particular instance of like, this is my dream. And he thought I was crazy. And then I just did whatever I could. I worked in public health in Oakland, and I took acting classes, whatever I could get my hands on, I did while I was in the Bay.
So when did you create, I mean, I know you've been on Big Little Lies, you've been on Insecure. When did you create your sketch comedy characters and do those videos? Was that before, in between?
That was before. So that was, I had moved to New York after living in the Bay Area and doing whatever acting work I could get my hands on in the Bay Area. I moved to New York for a couple of years. While I was in New York, I had done a play where I played two characters.
Mm-hmm. Where was the play?
The play was at the, oh God, I'm so bad at name recall. It was called You Are Dead, You Are Here, and it was off Broadway at the theater that I'm going to find.
Theater for the New City.
It was
the Ohio Rep or something. Cherry Lane's a little bigger.
It wasn't Cherry Lane. It would have been cool if it was Cherry Lane. It was, this is so.
It's okay. I'm just curious because I lived there for 10 years.
It was near, it was downtown somewhere. Okay. It was near the Trump Tower, actually. It was like 2 blocks away from the Trump Tower.
I've been to a theater down there, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. Guys, so we don't know what it's called, but it exists. She's not lying.
It exists. It's there. We know that much. I'm trying to look it up as I'm talking. Can't find it. Anyway, so I did that play. And afterwards, people would come to me and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was like 2 people doing the same character until like afterwards. And I looked at the program and da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, cool. At the same time, I had these agents and managers that like kept sending me out for very like stereotypically detrimental Middle Eastern roles where it was just like I was, the wife of a terrorist, the daughter of a terrorist, a woman hiding in a cave.
Did you always need to wear a hijab and speak in an accent?
Almost always. And I was always